So this is for students who didn't study enough before the prelims. And after the prelims, they got a nasty shock.
Yeah.
They were like, I'm failing, or I'm almost failing for some of their subjects, or even most of their subjects. But now they're very serious. Okay, they've gotten a wake-up call and they are going to study hard. So how can they salvage this? How can they fix this? Maybe you can talk in general for all subjects, or you can also talk just specifically how can they salvage math if that's their situation for math.
Before we talk about the how, you as a student, right? The first thing is you gotta lay out, okay, so I have 20 days left. What should I complete such that I'll feel prepared for my O-levels? So we need to have a reality check. What should I complete? And it's not just for those that are struggling, but even those that are getting C's, B's, or A's, right? We can do that. Everyone can do that. So ask yourself, before I walk to the exam hall, what do I want to complete? Or what should be completed so that I feel that I'm ready for O-levels. List them down. For math, for sciences, for humanities, for your language, right? Why I talk about this is because a lot of times no one teaches us how to manage and plan our timetable. So it feels like, hey, today I wake up, okay, today is a math day, tomorrow is a science day. And then when you just say today is a math day, how many questions are you going to do? Or maybe I do 3 questions, then I use my phone and then I'm on the bed. So you're not clear as to what should be completed. So we are always planning, I say planning forward. But instead you should plan backwards. Means, okay, before I walk to the exam hall, I want to finish my yearly TYS, I want to complete my full topical revision, I want to complete the hunting exercise. Right, so these are the 3 things I want to do. So I can speed up. Okay, if I want to complete all this by 20th October, right, then I should complete my yearly TYS by maybe like 10th of October, example. Then, okay, I have around 8 days left. How many papers should I be doing? So it's like you're breaking down, this entire chunk into small little parts. And you know that if I want to be on track, I need to complete my yearly TYS by hook or by crook this week. Then now there's a goal. If not, it's just very fluff. I just want to do 1 paper per day, or there's no reasons behind it. So if you plan according that way, you do not know whether you're doing too much, too little, whether you're on track. But if you plan backwards, now you realize that, okay, as long as I complete, my TYS by this certain date, and I move on to this next revision by this certain date, you know that before the exam, I'm ready. So back to your questions, for students that are not doing well, and you didn't do well for prelims, same thing, you got 20 days left. What do you want to complete so that you feel ready? Minimally, you should be, complete your topical revision and yearly TYS. Maybe you will have insufficient time to do hunting or to do prelim papers, but that's fine, you have no time. Minimally, if you complete your yearly TYS or topical TYS, right, you should at least still get a B, right? If everything goes well. So work backwards from there.
Yeah, so set the deadline, work backwards, and then you create mini deadlines for yourself. Yeah, agree with that. And so what I'd add on to that, right, is like just now you mentioned they might not have time for prelims hunting exercise, right? So you are actually telling them to sacrifice some things because of the limited time. So we have to just do the most crucial things that give you the most benefit. Again, it's the effort to benefit
the 80,
ratio.
20, right? Yeah.
Yes, true.
Correct.
So go for the 20% that gives the 80% result. Right. Yeah. I would say, okay, this is my guess for the other subjects also. Probably applies to sciences and math. Language probably not, which is again compiling the commonly asked questions. So for your tuition is the summary booklets, right? Yeah. So I would, if I was a student and I was like dying in my prelims, the first thing I would do is I will make sure that I know what are all the question types from each topic and how to answer them. In fact, for open-ended questions in bio, which is what students always struggle with, then I always tell them, this is the one most important thing that will help your open-ended questions. So for math, is there any other examples of, if you have this crucial thing, right, most of that's the most ratio for the benefit to effort?
I think it's one way to look at it is the whole math syllabus can be broken down into 4 teams, right? I believe that in biology that you have the teams as well. Yeah, so you can strategically map out your revision based on the teams and based on what are your stronger teams and your weaker teams. So the most common one, like in math, there's an algebra team, and that would be the first thing that you need to make sure that you get that 25% in, because that's something that you have been learning since Sec 1, right? Then after that we have geometry team and some of the Sec 4 topics. So you can arrange your revision based on like 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. And that could help you to maybe like simplify things a little bit more. Because if you break into like 20 chapters, it feels overwhelming. Yeah, but when you break into like, okay, these are the 4 pillars, right, of this whole syllabus, then at least it helps you to make you less stressed, I hope. Yeah.
Alright. Anything else to add for tips on how they can salvage it? Especially if they're really serious now and they're in this like mad sprint this last period.
I think is to create more time for yourself. Yeah. So as you look at your friends, those that have worked harder and earlier on, right, they are reaping the benefits because they have lesser to cram. But for you, if let's say you have start a little bit later, then maybe you can wake up a little bit earlier. You can sleep a bit later, right, and just go all out and make sure that whatever you set out to complete, you complete in time and not have any regrets at the end of the day.
Yeah. So which is creating more time, and I bet most students listening to this, right, are not sucking as much time out of their day as possible. I'm sure there are many inefficiencies and wasted times. Yeah, so whatever that is, like maybe looking at phone when you shouldn't, or just go and see your screen time. How much YouTube, how much Instagram, how much TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Then if you say, hey, I wish I could do more, but I just don't have enough time. Then like look at your screen time. That's your time. We found it. Yeah. So that's one example. Others could be studying with friends. Like if that is something that actually makes you less productive, be aware to see that and then just decide not to. Don't study with friends. You can still so sidetrack a bit. You can still have the friends element, right? By having accountability with your friends. Okay, which is you tell them, okay, I'm gonna do this paper and this paper by today. And then they will tell you what they are going to do. Then at the end of the day, you check in on each other. So you can still have the friends social element, but max productivity. And if you want to up the stakes on that, right, which is something I do for myself, is I will tell my friend, if I don't finish this, I have to pay you $5. I have to pay you $10. I have to buy you a coffee or a drink. And then they also have the same thing. So now there's stakes, and it just becomes so much higher chance that you'll actually do it on time.
Totally agree with you. I feel that this whole process is a learning journey, right? When we are back in lower sec and all, we don't really know how to study. No one teaches us how to study. But along the way, right, you start to find out better studying methods, studying techniques, right? You start to know how to memorize better, who to study with, right? With music, without music, all these things. You just get to know yourself better and the environment that puts you in and helps you to focus. Yeah, but I hope that this period is really helps you to grow as a student as well. Because I always believe that more exams are coming up in poly, in JC, in university. And the earlier you know yourself, the earlier you know how to study, then the earlier you crack the code of like taking exams. But back to the point, something that you mentioned, I think I just want to share that with the students, which is that because for the longest time since Sec 1, right, a lot of times before your exams, you always have school. But this period, school has ended, you all have graduated, you are at home every day. So it could be a little bit a shock to some students, like, hey, I wake up 10 a.m, what should I do today? I have the whole day in front of me. I have no idea, like, how should I be studying math, science, humanities, English? How should I be planning my time, right? So it may come as a shock as to some students who have never been like planning their life before. Yeah, so that becomes really, really important. If you have tips, you can talk about that as well.
Yeah, so totally agree. When it's quite scary that your whole day is yours to use. And if you waste it, it's completely on you. Yeah, and you also have no one to pressurize you or to mark your attendance when you're at school. So there's that lack of accountability, and you have to take full responsibility. So one solution that I'm implementing for my students, I actually did this last year also, and the students really liked it, so we're resuming it. It's called study blocks. Right, so it's quite simple. I'll just host a Zoom, and then our students can come in, and then at the start we'll all declare like, okay, what are we going to do this hour? And then at the end we'll all report, okay, what did we do this hour? So just now the accountability with the friend that I mentioned, this is the same, except that it's a faster feedback cycle because it's only 1 hour, then you got to report already. Plus you will see like the gallery of all the faces of other people in our class, right, studying. Then when you're tempted to use your phone, then you'll see all of them mugging, right? Then you'll be like, cannot. Then you'll feel the peer pressure, Yeah, so we're going to implement that, and this week, on Monday, we will start already for our students. So a huge thing to help with procrastination. So if you're not in our class, you can still actually have that. If you want to study with your friends, you can do that. Just don't give in to the temptation to chat with them or talk to them during that 1
Actually
hour.
on YouTube, or I think there are some websites, study room or something, whereby you can study across with students across the globe, and you can just watch them studying, and hopefully you'll feel like pressured that you should be focusing as well. Yeah.
There are these kind of things. There are those kind of, and I believe they're free also.
Yeah, they are.
Mm.
And even tracking like how many hours you study, the YPT and all that.
Oh yeah.
There's quite a lot of apps and all. So there's no excuse.
Actually, our students recommended the YPT thing. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll create it. Then they're like, oh yay, then they all joined that. So then you can like compete with other people. Like see, I did more hours than you. Any more ideas on how they can not procrastinate?
Not procrastinate.
I got one.
Yeah.
Which is that put your phone outside the room when you're studying. Like really, just put it outside. You can even give to your parents, right? You can say that I'm studying now. I put here beside you. Later, I'll come and take it. Like, okay, I bet most students would have faced this also. When I was younger, your parents don't trust you. Your parents are always think you're irresponsible, you're lazy, you're not studying. Why you're not studying enough? Why you're always playing your phone, right? So use this as an opportunity to fix that perception of you. Then they'll be like, wow, my child's really getting responsible and mature. I can trust them with more things, and hopefully they will not be so controlling of you. Yeah, you got any more?
I think it's back to environment. Back when I was in lower sec all the way to upper sec, I was always searching for the best environment to study. So I started off, in sec 2 in Burger Kings, in some random cafes, and realized that it doesn't really help because I'm spending like half the amount of time thinking of what to eat, ordering, and then having French fries in my hands. Yeah, then after that I slowly transited to like the library. So library was a big part of my studying life in upper sec all the way to JC. Right? Especially I'm surrounded with a lot of different people. Even people that I never met before. So I see people from JC, I see you from university studying. I'm like, hey, one day I'll be like them. And wow, they can concentrate for 3 hours. Maybe like, how did they do that? So I'm like sitting beside a NUS girl or NTU girl, right? Then they are like working really hard. So I get inspired to work hard as well. Yeah. So if home is not a conducive environment, then you should consider like just leaving the home and going to the library. Yeah, that should really help.
Totally agree. For myself, okay, so again, it comes down to awareness of your own uniqueness.
Yeah.
I notice that I get too distracted when I'm outside. Even if it's a quiet library, right? My mind will keep thinking of the people who are around me and like kind of like monitoring them or something. So I notice I'm most myself when I'm at home and I close the door. So you see, if your house people are talking loudly, you can also tell them, hey, I'm studying now, help me. And then you can also let them know, I'm studying now, I'm going to do a time practice right now for this 1 hour. That's why I'm going to close the door. Yeah, and then let them know that. But if that's not possible, then I agree. You should go out to a quiet place. And okay, small tip about going out, right? Whenever I have to work outside, I always put my earphones in and then I will play the same song on repeat. And it's a song that has no words. Because when there are lyrics, when there are words, then your mind will start like trying to understand them, right? And that distracts you. So, okay, for me, I use Plants vs. Zombies soundtrack.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah,
okay.
and it's the one where it feels quite hype and hyper. So it puts me in the mode of like, okay, let's like be serious and fast and do my work. And it keeps repeating. So now it becomes a trigger. So when I am out, once I start hearing that song, I go into that mode of like, okay, I'm very serious and I'm working fast now. Yeah. So loop it, helps you not be distracted, blocks out the noise, and it becomes a trigger for you also. So many benefits to it.
Yeah, music plays a big role.